I don't think there's any reason to be overly stressed about this. I think regardless whether or not Rodgers was going to be coming back, you'd still be looking for the long-term answer at quarterback anyway. And when I'm looking at this roster, even if we were to reload everything entirely and push some salary cap space into 2026 and 2027, I don't know if this is a roster strong enough to do anything other than break our playoff drought potentially. And to me, if you're going to be the Dolphins and get bounced in the first round, I don't know how much of a victory that honestly is. So ripping the Band-Aid off, moving off Rodgers, and some of the information we heard about how the conversation went down, we'll get into the audio clip from Rossini. But I like what's happening. I like that Aaron Glenn's kind of putting his foot down. I like that this feels like a very Parcellian type move. He comes in and he cuts the biggest guy. He's like, I'm like, this is my show. Not to mention, Rodgers probably feels halfway decent about it. If he was going to come back here, it would have been just a stat padding kind of season. It was going to be, basically what this season was, just for one additional year. So he gets to play the villain card of, oh, they let me go. And Glenn gets to play the, I showed him, this is my team. So I don't know. I think both sides ultimately win, and it's kind of the fans that might feel a little left out to dry. But I'm not super shook up about it. Matt, what are your thoughts now that we've had a little bit of time to digest this?
Yeah, I feel like I am in the minority because I read the news and I was kind of like, oh, okay. Like, I didn't think it was a big deal. And then I checked out Twitter and people were either like crazy upset over it or just like celebrating like they ended a war or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it was just like these crazy over the top reactions. And maybe it was because honestly, this whole time, like my expectation after the season ended, I did not think that Aaron Rodgers was going to come back this year. I thought, there was a greater chance that he wouldn't come back. And honestly, like the hints were kind of there. I felt like the last couple months when he would go on McAfee, in a way would kind of like hint or tease the Jets, kind of almost like egging them on to cut him with some of the things that he was saying. But then also too, like you had Thomas Dimitroff down at the Super Bowl last week and he did like 6,000 interviews. And in every single interview, he pretty much said, I would have moved on from Aaron Rodgers. And in one of them, I forget which station it was on. It might've been CBS Sports. It doesn't matter. But he kind of hinted at, that being the case for a lot of the people that interviewed for the position, that their stance was they were going to move on from Aaron Rodgers. And look, I get it. Like in just a pure vacuum of like zero other context other than just looking at what Aaron Rodgers can give you in 2025. Can the Jets maybe win a couple more games with Rodgers in comparison to Tyrod, Jameis Winston, pick your favorite veteran stopgap quarterback other than Aaron Rodgers? Yeah, maybe you can make that case. But there's so many more layers to it, and it's such a more nuanced conversation when you get into the future cap ramifications. Is it really Aaron Glenn's team if Aaron Rodgers is still here? And all that extra stuff. Would he want to learn the new offense? Would he let Tanner Engstrand run the show, or would he still want it to be the Aaron Rodgers way? Can they move on from Allen Lazard? Devontae Adams is paired up with him, and like all this stuff. So I totally understood why a new regime would come in here and kind of want to do things their own way. They tried it. I don't blame them for trying it. I thought it was the right move at the time. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, and I don't think doubling down on your mistake is a wise choice. So I'm good with the Jets moving on.
What about you, Green Bean? How you feeling about the whole situation now that you've had a little time to digest it?
Yeah, I mean, I will say I loved your joke at the beginning. We thought we were going to be talking the Jets, the Super Bowl Sunday, and that ended up happening. That was well done. I want to applaud that effort you made there. But I got to admit, no matter my feelings, I was frustrated. I was aggravated that the Jets had. I just wanted to like relax and not think and just watch football. And I had to get texts and people, and then I got memes and all this kind. I didn't want to deal with that on Super Bowl Sunday. And the Jets just know how to keep themselves at the center of attention. And it's a little, it's a little transparent anymore. I think like it's a clown car kind of a thing. That said, I did come around the mountain, after the season. Right after the season, I was like, just get everybody out of here. Get him out, get a Lazard. I don't care about these guys. I did start to settle into the idea that, this whole group having a second season together could be good. Like, I know you guys said, what are you going to win a couple more games? I saw it a little bit differently than that. I saw it as, maybe they shook off a lot of the rust. The offensive line played together now. We got rid of Old Man Smith and we got Fashanu in there and all that kind of stuff. So I gotta tell you, I'm a little saddened by this. Maybe it's just, the hold on to the dream, like she said, maybe it's like that, Dumb and Dumber. Like, what kind of chances? Like 1 in 10,000, 1 in 100, 1 in a million. And he goes, so you're saying there's a chance? Like, it's one of those kinds of things. But I think you made a good point too, that in order for this to be Aaron Glenn's team and for Taylor Engstrand to have any semblance of a chance at like kind of capturing the hearts and minds of this offense, Aaron Rodgers likely can't be here, and it's just one of those things. Like, if you're gonna grow, like, growing is tough. Growing, there's pain involved with it. And, the path of least resistance a lot of the time just isn't it, and look, we're all hoping Aaron Glenn comes in here. One of the things that a lot of us liked about him is where he came from, right? He's got that Parcellian background, and what we've lacked so poorly, so much, I should say, under the Saleh regime is that accountability. Like, nobody got held to account except Denzel Mims, Tony Adams, and Malachi Corley in 4 years. Like, that's really the only 3 guys that got held to the fire, so to speak. So I think, him coming in, they had a conversation. I think they're making more to do about the mandatory, like A-Rod was here. Like, he had those 2 days. That wasn't an issue. The McAfee thing, I do think is an issue. It's like, he's constantly out there. And I think a team, especially a new regime wanting to come in, you don't need that leader of your team out there talking shit every single week. So I get it. I'm saddened by it, but I still think the team's got a lot of potential. There's a lot of talent here. We'll see what happens with some other guys, but I gotta say, I'm sad, but I get it.
What's up, guys? Matt O'Leary from Talkin' Jets. If you liked that video, please make sure to subscribe and follow for more New York Jets content.